Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys, and today we're going to talk about should you put headers on your 3.7 Q50, G37, 370Z, and even down to the VQ35s. But before I get into the video, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. I talk about a lot of information for the Infinity world or the Nissan world because I did have a 3.7, 3.5, 3.0, and now a 3.0T. But otherwise, now let's jump right into it. This question was brought up by one of you guys, and they were talking about in this video here. I spoke about test pipes versus high flow cats. So if you want to check out that video that's in that card, check it out. But his question was, what if I don't want to get test pipes or high flow cats? Isn't headers just the best option to go for my VQ37? So in this video, I want to talk about some of the things that I've watched and learned and read about when it comes to doing headers over test pipes and high flow cats. So let's start off with number one, the advantages. All right, one of the advantages of running headers is based on this. Well, let's talk about the design of the stock headers. Usually on the VQ37s, you'll see a shorty header, and it'll have a very flowy look to it. It's all singular tubes off of each header, and it goes into one collector. It's that one pipe, so it's 3-to-1. It has a decent flow design, so Nissan maximize the design of this header. Now, when you go with headers, usually these aftermarket companies will try to still design that type of still stock shorty header, or they'll design a long header, and I think PPE, or I forgot the name of the company. I'll put it up in a card or in a picture, picture or something. And what they'll do is they'll either design a shorty header that can still bolt up to the stock cats, or they'll design a long tube headers which will replace the cats completely, so it'll be one singular unit. So construction-wise, it usually has decent construction to it. Number two, when they usually design the advantages, when they design these headers, they still design to have a scavenging effect. Hopefully right now I'll put a video up about what the scavenging effect does. Usually you have exhaust pulses. So you have the firing order of the motor. So let's just say its passenger side is bank 2, 4, 6. When bank 2 exhaust valves opens and it pushes out the exhaust, usually with that, the scavenging effect is the second port or cylinder 4 and cylinder 6. When that pulse 2 goes through that into the collector, it actually have a scavenging effect where it has a vacuum on the cylinder 4, and when cylinder 4 ignites or pushes the exhaust out, it has a vacuum on cylinder 6 or cylinder 2. So at higher RPM, usually there's a lot of turbulence in the exhaust, and when it's all three of these go into one collector, just think about the amount of turbulence you're going through. But when you have a scavenging effect with higher RPM, there's always going to be a suction on the other two exhaust banks, which will increase the velocity and increase getting the exhaust out of get the exhaust out of the headers into the test pipe or headers. So that is one of the best crucial things when you got to do when you want to get headers. Necessarily, this is not really such a big thing in the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder market, but in the 8-cylinder market, this is a big thing. They have to have the scavenger. In our cases, with smaller space, we don't have this much issues about it, but there are headers that they're just made out there, but they don't have a scavenging effect. Okay, guys? Just want you to put that out there. 3. One of the other reasons why it's good to get headers is the flow design. So usually with long tube headers, you can increase the amount of velocity. So the speed of the exhaust exiting out of the hot manifold is even a bit quicker with a long tube headers and or a slightly better designed stock headers. So with that being the case, that means you can get the exhaust out the quickest, which means you alleviate a lot of exhaust pressure, which means the car will just run better. Less back pressure is the best. People argue about this all day. Hey, if it's supposed to have back pressure, supposed to have back pressure. No. Back pressure is never a good thing in any car. Turbo, boosted turbo, or non-turbo, period. Now, let's get to some of the disadvantages that I want to talk about with long tube headers or just shorty headers if you choose to go aftermarket. Number one, craftsmanship. Yes, just like I talked about in the first advantages, you have craftsmanship, which could be bad. Usually in this case, it's something depending on the type of steel that they would use, or cast they would use, in the molding process. You may have fitment issues, and if you're gonna spend, let's just say you go to a garage and that garage charges you 100 per hour, right, to install, to do whatever amount of work it is, and let's say it takes them 6 hours. That's $600 to install headers on top of whatever the price of the headers were. For you to have any fitment issues is really going to get you upset, because this is something that definitely happens in this world, and it usually happens in the market where most of the headers are made overseas in a Chinese brand. So a lot of guys won't want to run into these type of issues. Number two, one of the disadvantages is the price. Most of these headers, usually long tubes, are high $100, like not $100, like 100. I'm talking about couple hundred, up to maybe even $1,000 just for headers for a VQ37, when you can go purchase test pipes for your test pipes that removes your cats for as low as $150 to $200 to $300. Shoot, you can even get high flow cats for like $300-$400, whatever the case might be, and you would still yield the similar performance with those things. So when it comes down to that, the price margin is just more expensive, especially if the installation is more stringent. All right? And also, when you add installing this, things break. You would hate to have whoever your installer is to break one of the studs that comes off the block trying to get your header off. Just saying, guys. So those are pretty much the two disadvantages. So everybody's always going to ask me, so should I just get headers over test pipes? Well, based on the advantages and disadvantages, let me just close like this. If you want to get the most performance out of your VQ37, VQ35HR, VQ35, and you know that money is not necessarily a big thing for you, like you want to do an NA build, yes, purchase the long tube headers, okay, guys? Because when it comes down to tuning with headers or just long tube headers or aftermarket shorty headers, on top of whatever you choose to add, yes, your car will perform the best. Reason being, they can raise your rev limit a bit higher. You're going to have, if you get decent headers that have a scavenging effect, boom, you got it. Everything will be good. You'll get the most amount of performance. 5 wheel horsepower may not seem like a lot to you guys, but 5 wheel horsepower is a difference of winning and losing. Like, literally. Most of you guys are going to say, there's other things you could do to gain it, but just being fair. This is when it comes down to the tuner. The tuner could be able to tune your car and get the most out of it, and you can get the most out of it. So all in all, guys, this is my recommendation. I'm not going to say, guys, that you shouldn't get headers or you shouldn't. I just try to give you the advantages that, hey, listen, headers are usually more expensive in the sense of the product and installation versus test pipes, high flow cats, installation plus the product. But they do yield a bit more power. Well, the advantages for headers and shorty headers that it gets a bit more power in the mid-range to high range because it gets out a lot more exhaust gases and flows a little bit better, more than the stocky headers with high flow cats or test pipes. So those guys, those are the advantages and disadvantages. If you like this video, hit the like button below. If you want to join this channel, please hit the subscribe, guys, and hit that little bell notification. I talk about a lot of stuff for the VQ37, 35, and the I need to even start making videos about the 3.0s because I had 3.0 motor, whatever the case might be. But now I'm a twin turbo guy. Still got to show love to the VQs. We are out there. I love y'all guys very much. Sorry, 3.0T guys, this video wasn't for you guys today. But definitely, guys, check out these videos at the side. This is Boost in Motion. You have an amazing, beautiful day. You have a good day. Appreciate y'all. Also, y'all can check me on Boost in Motion on Instagram and Boost in Motion on Facebook. Thank you.